National Car Rental Racehorse Digest. Best music in racing. I'm Randy Moss, subbing again for the vacationing Chris Lincoln. It's a super week to be in the chair because our spotlighted race is the Super Derby from Louisiana Downs. Trainer Elliott Walden, already having a career year, went after the $500,000 purse with his two big guns, Menifee and Ecton Park. Our final odds presented by Las Vegas is Jim Dandy winner Ecton Park is the 3-to-1 second choice in the wagering. Haskell winner Menifee again bet down to 3-to-5 odds this time, and another in the mile-and-a-quarter race, juvenile champ Answer Lively at 4-to-1. Can Answer Lively last the distance and give hometown owner John Franks his first Super Derby win? Will Walden's dynamic duo catch him? If so, which one? With the answers, race caller Chris Katulak.
Menifee needs to make up two, and they have to get to Ecton Park, a short lead. Brassy Wells goes by Answer Lively. Menifee still in a stalking position. They come for home, and it's Ecton Park, and Menifee has to run him down. Ecton Park turns for home, leading it by 2. Menifee a clear path to get that leader now. Pineapple from last is coming on to take over third. Ecton Park still in front by over 2. Menifee doing his best. Pineapple third, 16th pole, and it'll be Ecton Park to win it. Ecton Park beats out Menifee and Pineapple. Ecton Park under the wine to take Super Derby 20.
Elliott Walden has preached for months that Ecton Park is as good as Menifee, and here you go. It's Ecton Park by 2 lengths under Alex Solis. You'd have to think both horses will run in the Breeders' Cup Classic if they're okay. Walden was quoted as saying even before the race that he believes the 3-year-old will win the Classic this year. 13 3-year-olds have gone from the Super Derby straight into the Classic, and 8 have finished in the money. 3 wins, 3 seconds, 2 thirds. Over at Belmont Park, the mile-and-a-quarter Flower Bowl Invitational, one of 2 Grade 1 national preps last weekend for the new Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf. 5-2 favorite Heritage of Gold is cruising on a slow pace, but the other 3 leading contenders are hot on her trail.
Soaring Softly is asked for her run now by Jerry Bailey, and Squeak is the last of them all. They're coming to the top of the stretch. It is still Heritage of Gold, the leader, by a half length. Coretta right alongside. Mossflower 3 wide. Soaring Softly 4 wide. Insight down toward the inside. Headlong into the final furlong. Coretta kicks in. Short lead. Heritage of Gold. Soaring Softly charging on the outside. Mossflower is 4th and inside. It's Soaring Softly, a narrow lead. Coretta grudgingly gives way as they come down to the line. Soaring Softly the winner by a length. Coretta was 2nd. Mossflower was 3rd.
Flower Bowl win by Soaring Softly was her 6th victory in her last 7 starts. She was ridden for the first time by Jerry Bailey. The slow pace actually worked against her, but if you do the math, she runs her final quarter mile in about 22 4/5 seconds, and that kind of finish will overcome a lot. That's why trainer Jimmy Toner believes the 1 3/8 distance of the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf should suit Soaring Softly perfectly. ESPN's presentation of National Car Rental Racehorse Digest is brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And by the American Quarter Horse Association, serving the American quarter horse racing industry and America's horse. We are now into October, and Charismatic continues to lead all horses in 99 earnings, even though he's watching from the stud farm. Menifee now into 2nd, but temporarily probably because Silver Bullet Day runs on Sunday. And on the upcoming Breeders' Cup National Stakes schedule, we've got the Lady Secret at Santa Anita and the Fayette from Keeneland, which opens this week, both on Sunday. Let it never be said that we at Racehorse Digest lack global vision. The most important race of the weekend was run not in the US of A, but in France. The 1.4 million Arc de Triomphe over Longchamps demanding 1.5-mile route. 14 horses start in the Arc. The field was diminished somewhat in number by the recent rainy weather in Paris. It left the course a little bit this side of heavy, and on the lead, looking invincible in mid-stretch is El Condor Pasa, the Japan Cup winner, but coming after him is Montjou, the 3-year-old, and in the back of the pack, the gray is Delamy, struggling to handle the going. But as they come to the wire, Montjou and El Condor Pasa run away from the field, and at the finish, the winner of the Arc is Montjou. with jockey Michael Kinane. Montjou is owned by Michael Tabor, who also owned 1995 Kentucky Derby winner Thunder Gulch. And look, the fastest paint job in history, the winning colors already on the course at Longchamp. The payoffs in U.S. dollar equivalents. Montjou actually the 3-2 favorite for a couple of reasons. First of all, concerns that Delamy might not handle the course, and also Montjou's a very good horse. 7 for 8 lifetime. Earlier this year won the French and Irish Derbies. No word on Montjou's status for the Breeders' Cup Turf yet, but here's some we'll see at Gulfstream next month. It's opening week at Oak Tree, and this is the Yellow Ribbon, the other Grade 1 prep for the filly and mare turf. 2-1 favorite, Fiji.
Into the turn they go, and it's Tranquility Lake. Candy Lonely trying to hang tough at the rail. Fiji getting a tap on the shoulder, now being pushed along on the outside. Tuzla continues to go magnificently. Can Tuzla get out of there? Spanish Fern and Cafe Latte. They lining up at the top of the stretch in the Yellow Ribbon. Tranquility Lake. Tuzla pulled to the outside, but Spanish Fern got first run. Fiji did not go on. Cafe Latte on the outside, but it's Spanish Fern in full flight for the wire. Spanish Fern going to go on to take the Yellow Ribbon, and it's Spanish Fern and Chris McCarron striding home to beat Cafe Latte.
Spanish Fern impressive in her first stakes victory, ridden by Chris McCarron and trainer Bobby Frankel, who seems to specialize in these grass-loving gals, has another one. Cafe Latte second. Julio Canane's other horse, Tranquility Lake, faded to last. Tuzla fourth. Fiji, in her first start since last year's Yellow Ribbon, ran 6th, but is still in Breeders' Cup contention. Frankel is number 10 on the list of all-time Breeders' Cup money-winning trainers, but has never actually won a Breeders' Cup race. That could change this year. The other Grade 1 last weekend at Santa Anita, the Oak Tree Turf Championship for male turfers. 1.25 miles, just like the Yellow Ribbon, and a closely matched field of 6 foreign imports.
They've less than a half mile to go, and Lazy Load and Docksider now kick for home, and those two open up going into the far turn. Lazy Load at the rail and Docksider, they've gone clear by 4 lengths. Nash 1 is racing in second. Bonaparte's trying to get off the rail to find some room, and now Sayashan is winding up on the outside of Majorian. Coming to the top of the lane, Lazy Load, Docksider now gets a tap on the shoulder. Nash 1 at the rail, Bonaparte's, Majorian on the outside, it's wide open. Nash 1 sneaking through down at the rail. Nash 1, Lazy Load, Docksider can find no more. Bonaparte's not quite doing enough, but Nash 1 is, and Nash 1 striding clear in the lane. Nash 1 and David Flores take the Oak Tree Turf Championship. Nash 1, Lazy Load, Bonaparte's third, then Sayashan, Majorian, and Docksider finish last.
A Grade 1 turf double for trainer Bobby Frankel. First Spanish Fern, and now long shot Mash 1 in the Oak Tree Invitational. Mash 1 was ridden by David Flores.
I'll tell you what, this horse was ready. When I asked him to go, he just take off, and that was a great feeling when, I know I have a lot of horse running the 3/8. I was just matter of wait and then go on with him in the top of the stretch.
The 5-year-old out of an Exceller mare, hadn't won since December 1997. That was in Chile, where he was bred. He was second in the San Gabriel, 6th in the Man of War, and now he's in the winner's circle. Stay with us for quarter horse racing. Next up on the Digest. If you're a night watchman or know how to program your VCR, you might catch our first Digest showing next week, 3 a.m. Eastern. Thankfully, it'll be replayed Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern and again early Saturday. The Meeting of Champions is underway at Lone Star Park. That's Texas talk for quarter horses. The 2- and 3-year-olds usually have the spotlight, but on opening night in Grand Prairie, we saw the older division in the B.F. Phillips Handicap. Number 2, Bushfire, was 6-5 under leading Texas quarter horse jockey Gilbert Ortiz. The second choice at 2-1 is outside there. The number 8 horse, and his name is Turrucken Special.
They're off. A great break for Bushfire. Nearest the inside is Fabulous Leader trying to run with Bushfire through these opening 100 yards. Up on the far outside, here comes Truckin' Special. Truckin' Special coming with a long run down the middle of the track in Bushfire. And these are the two, Truckin' Special and Bushfire. Truckin' Special going to get up. Truckin' Special defeats Bushfire.
Way out there, Truckin' Special finishes strongly to draw away from Brushfire as the 2-1 second choice. The 4-year-old's time of 19.75, a stakes record and the 5th fastest at 400 yards in Lone Star's 3-year history. Eddie Cox was on Truckin' Special, who's owned by the Santa Clara Ranch, trained by Bobby Martinez. In his last start, Truckin' Special had a 7-race win streak snapped by world champion candidate Taylor Fitt. but it didn't take him long to start another one. In Southern California, the 301,000 PCQHRA Futurity featured the formidable entry of Corona, Czech, and Hawkinson at 4-5. But there was also an ill wind named SV Blue Tornado.
And away they go in the PCQHRA Breeders' Futurity, and SV Blue Tornado came out running, and so did Isa-10, a honey of a dash, and Worth a Look, remarkably ritzy, are all right there. Isa-10's now coming on. SV Blue Tornado, Worth a Look, remarkably ritzy, but here comes SV Blue Tornado to blow him away with Worth a Look running right there in the photo for second.
SV Blue Tornado crosses the wire a half length in front, but he left a path of destruction that included both parts of the favorite entry and a couple of others as well. For that, SV Blue Tornado was disqualified and placed 8th. Just inside all the trouble was Worth a Look, who ran a solid race under Henry Garcia and was awarded the victory through DQ. 2 big long shots also escaped the trouble for second and third. It didn't happen exactly the way he envisioned it, but Worth a Look's effort earned trainer D. Wayne Lucas his first Los Alamitos Stakes win since he switched to thoroughbreds in the late 70s. Lucas, his wife Laura, and Terry Horton owned Worth a Look, who scored her first stakes victory. The following evening at Los Alamitos, the Lucas-trained First Special Dash went up against the always tough Bono Jazz in the $102,000 PCQHRA Derby. But keep an eye on number 9, Dash to Shivato.
And away they go in the PCQHRA Breeders' Derby. The one who came away well was First Special Dash, also a gal's first down. Now moving up in between horses is Move Me First. Bono Jazz is coming on fast, and so is Dash to Shivato. Dash to Shivato's running huge. Bono Jazz also on the outside. Romeo Ryan. Dash to Shivato wins the Derby. Very close for second between Bono Jazz and Romeo Ryan, but the upset winner, Dash to Shivato.
Bombs away in the Derby as Dash to Shivato and Joe Badia light up the tote board at 47-1. Bono Jazz survived a bump at the start to be second. Romeo Ryan, his usual solid effort, in third. It's a rare sight to see any horse owned by the powerful Vessel Stallion Farm pay $97, but Dash to Shivato had previously been a well-bred disappointment with just 1 win in 14 starts. But with this upset, trainer Danny Cardoza has guided Dash to Shivato into a suddenly wide-open California 3-year-old picture. The AQHA offers more information on the Racing American Quarter Horse. Just call this toll-free number, 1-800-414-RIDE. Jerry D. Bailey continues to top the Jockey Money One list. Last weekend, Bailey, Jorge Chavez, Alex Solis, and David Flores each won graded stakes. Our second thoroughbred tour of duty begins at Calder for the Miami Mile Breeders' Cup Handicap. Unite's Big Red won this race last year. He's the 119-pound top weight, the 9-5 favorite to repeat. But he's a come from behinder, and you won't hear much from him because Unite's Big Red at this stage of the race is still well behind near the back of the pack.
46-2, and they move to the far turn. On the outside, Wirtz has a short lead with Shamrock City right at their hedge. A length back to the outside, it's Tekken, and a half length back to the hedge. Looking for room, Reality Road. Moving up next, that Sharp Appeal to the outside. It's Spendable. Further out come Unite Big Red. They went 3/4 and won 10-2, and they're at the top of the stretch. On the inside, Shamrock City. On the outside, moving up the challenge, it's Sharp Appeal. Length and a half back down the middle of the course, the stablemate Harahi. They're in the final furlong now. The entry of Sharp Appeals in front. Harai's coming on, and between him it's Shamrock City. Here's the wire. Sharp Appeal takes the Miami Mile Breeders' Cup Handicap.
Sharp Appeal, part of an entry with third place Harahi, both exclaimers owned by Martin Cherry and trained by Marty Wolfson. The Breeders' Cup's in Florida this year, so both may run in the mile if they can get in. Sharp Appeal would need a $120,000 supplement. Sharp Appeal hadn't raced since June. In July, the 6-year-old had ligaments in his arthritic hocks cut to give him a better range of motion. Sounds like Rocky. Cut me. He had the equivalent of a tennis elbow, according to Wolfson. But on Saturday, Sharp Appeal hit an ace. The Indiana Derby at Hoosier Park went off at 9:32 p.m. Central Time Saturday. It also had a purse of $300,000, and a dozen 3-year-olds chased the prize. Jorge Chavez in to ride the favorite from Florida, 5-2, 41 carats. And that's 41 carats running past Zanetti from California, ridden by Robbie Alvarado, at 41 carats. comes home the winner over Zanatti, second. Third was First American. The last time 41 Carats lost a race was in April in the Flamingo at Hialeah, and who beat him? First American. What goes around comes around. 41 Carats is now to be pointed for the October 29 Pegasus Handicap at the Meadowlands rather than for the Breeders' Cup Classic. This year he's won 4 of his 5 starts. Over to Philly Park now for the Grade 2 Cotillion Handicap. 3-year-old fillies at 1 1/16 on dirt. Strolling Bell second to Silver Bullet Day, a distant second, but second nonetheless. And the Alabama Stakes is the 9-5 favorite here. That's her with the white blaze on the inside. But taking the lead is Long Shot skipping around and jockey Mike McCarthy. And now into the picture comes 2 more bombers. Waltz at 42-1 and Belle Cherie. But at the wire, skipping around is All Out to win it by 3 parts of a length and provides a big payday for the bettors, at least for those who backed her. Strolling Bell didn't get that easy lead she had in the Alabama. She just holds on for second. Owned by Arthur Appleton and trained by Bob K-Mack. This is the biggest career win for the daughter of Skip Trial. She shipped over from Delaware, where she just won a smaller stakes. This was her first try in a graded stakes. She tries hard, too. She's now 6 for 12 lifetime. Finally, let's head back to Belmont for the Noble Damsel Handicap. Yet another filly and mare grass race. This was just a grade 3, though. Aren't we spoiled? Seeking the Pearl, a Japanese mare, hoping to use this race as a springboard to the Breeders' Cup Mile, but bursting through the pack is Kumbamela, an Irish bred, and Kumbamela bids goodbye to the others in the Noble Damsel. Her final margin of victory was 5 lengths. She wins it as the second favorite. Another score for Jose Santos, who's having a good run of luck in New York lately with Lemon Drop Kid and others. His 4-year-old filly is nominated to the Breeders' Cup, and trainer Christophe Clement said afterwards he might consider her for the mile if she can get in, but that's a very big if, considering the competition in the mile this year and also the popularity of that race. Seeking the Pearl was 4th and is now reported to be out of mile contention. Remember, it's the first weekend of the month, so we bring you, drumroll please, Arabians. They're being prepped for the Arabian Cup Championships October 16 and 17 at Delaware Park. And Royal Athena, the favorite to win the Distaff Championship on Arabian Cup Day, recently prepped at Delaware in the 1 1/16 Distaff Handicap. Here, Royal Athena is on the lead with her jockey, Tommy Zamora.
6 in 119 and 3. Royal Athena leads it by 1.5 lengths. Dixie Darling's trying to come back. 2 lengths further back to Basta Viatra and My Way Ma kicking in a bit. Furlong to go. It's Royal Athena in front by 3 lengths. On the outside, Dixie Darling. My Way Ma rallies. Late run from Onanika, who's splitting horses at Reed and Wright. But a 16th to go. It's Royal Athena. They're not going to catch her today. The battle's for the balance. Royal Athena will win it. My Way Ma, Reed and Wright, followed by Onanika across the line.
That's Royal Athena running under the colors of Kelly and Howard Pike. They were the high bidders for a 2-year lease on the then unraced filly at an auction that benefited the Arabian Horse Trust. Now she's won 13 of 17 starts and earned over $248,000. Royal Athena also received a $100,000 bonus for winning all 3 World Series races in Arabian racing. That would be the Distaff Sprint, the Buzz Broninger Distaff, and this race. Next up, Royal Athena, the Arabian Cup Championships. Here's another race from Delaware, the Turf Handicap, taken off the turf due to the weather. The heavy favorite, Dreams of Valor, making it look oh so easy on the lead. Jockey Tommy Zamora, once again in the irons, encourages the 4-year-old colt to the wire, winning this race by 8 1/4 lengths. Dreams of Valor collects his 10th victory in 17 career starts for the Fisher Racing Arabians. Dreams of Valor's earnings are over the $200,000 mark, and that places him 10th on the all-time Arabian list. The colt will run next in the Arabian Cup Championships and the $100,000 Arabian Cup Godolphin Classic on October the 17th. The Arabians were also loose in Texas at Retama Park. It was the Texas Arabian Oaks for 4-year-old fillies. They start a year later in Arabian racing, remember? In the stretch, battling it out on the inside is Glorioski. She's the gray. To her outside, Royal Marquesa. No runaway in this Arabian race. Glorioski on the inside, Royal Marquesa on the outside, and they'll take this one all the way to the wire. Glorioski prevails by a neck over Royal Marquesa. Glorioski trained by Robert Knight for the Mandolin Hill Farm. Jockey Josh Boyd was the winner. This was Glorioski's first victory of 1999 and also her first career stakes win. Here's a trivia question for you. The all-time leading Arabian stallion, that would be Viking.
with earnings of just under $5 million, his progeny that is, and by King the sire of Glorioski. It's been a decade since the passing of a thoroughbred legend. Stay with us for Thoroughbred News.
ESPN's presentation of National Car Rental Racehorse Digest is being brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And by the Arabian Jockey Club, setting the standard for Arabian racing. This week's Thoroughbred News sponsored by the Jockeys Guild. Not really, but it probably seems that way. 3 of them to talk about here. First, Patrick Valenzuela is back and everybody's rooting for him. Valenzuela has a long history of personal problems and substance abuse. And in his latest second chance, he won a race Thursday at Santa Anita. Before that, Valenzuela's last winner was August 20, 1997. Meanwhile, Eddie De La Houssaye returned from a fractured shoulder he suffered back on July the 30th. In his second mount back at Santa Anita, Eddie D, who's always liked the long shots, was a winner aboard 41-to-1 shot Santo Vito. Also at the Oak Tree meet, Lafitte Pinkai Jr. won a race Friday. He won another one on Saturday, and he's now at 8,793 lifetime. That puts him just 40 behind Bill Shoemaker's all-time record, and Lafitte's closing in. Also, this week marks the 10th anniversary of the death of legendary Secretariat, the 1973 Triple Crown winner who captured the imaginations of racing experts and novices alike. It hardly seems like a decade. Big Red left us on October 4, 1989 at Claiborne Farm in Paris, Kentucky. And as you can see, even in retirement, running through the pasture, Secretariat still looked like $1 million. Join us on Saturday, October 9, as NTRA Racing to the Breeders' Cup continues with 4 big stakes races live from Belmont Park and Keeneland. We'll have the whole team at work to bring you Yagley's expected return in the Turf Classic. Here's Yagley winning the UN at Monmouth. He came back to lose the Sword Dancer, but he'll be back this weekend, as well as More Than Ready in the Champagne, and from the Lexington, the Shadwell Mile and the Queen Elizabeth Challenge. It's a 90-minute telecast on ESPN2 beginning Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Ground transportation provided by National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the National Thoroughbred Racing Association.
Let's go! As we see MASH 1 winning the Oak Tree Invitational at Santa Anita. A reminder, on next week's digest, we'll have 7 Grade 1 stakes races, plus the return of Chris Lincoln. Thanks for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.